Hello? Hello. I think we're good. Welcome
So
to our
delayed.
Tuesday power lunch, everybody.
What are we watching? Why is this so delayed?
Don't worry about that.
I don't like this.
It's not delayed for anybody but you.
Oh, good. Good. Okay. Yeah. So welcome to our power lunch while Jeff figures us out.
We're good.
Yeah. For those of you who are joining us for the first time this week, welcome. And if you are joining us again, you've watched this before, welcome back. My name's Dakota,
And I am Jeff Barker. Hello, hello.
and we are the founders of Pinnacle Investments, which is our multifamily acquisitions company. We have been quite active with that over the last little while. We have some projects that we have going on, and that's been taking up a lot of our time, which has been exciting.
Yeah, keeping us busy, that's for sure.
Yeah, we took a bit of a break with our acquisitions after a 24 unit, and then just got back into the game recently, working on a 7 unit right now. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what we're up to.
Yeah.
And we're really, really busy right now because
We're moving.
yeah,
Is that where you're going with that?
yeah.
We're downsizing from where we are, just to simplify. And we talked about it a couple of power lunches ago. So if you want to go back, actually, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see all of the power lunches that we've done. We've been pretty consistent with this over the last over a year now, actually. So.
I got a one of those 1 year ago reminders on Facebook, and it was, I can't remember what the talk was, but it was the topic that we had a year ago
Nice.
on that day.
There we go. So I know it's been over a year that we've been doing this, so good for us for keeping this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see all of the previous ones, and we talked about that recently. So, and today's topic is an interesting one. It's actually in line with what we do here. So we're going to be talking about social media,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of bridges nicely with last week's discussion of which was the power of momentum. So if you missed that one, go check it out. Again, it's on our YouTube channel. We like these to be as interactive as possible. So we do them live, and we're reading the chat if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube. We're watching the chat to see if anybody has any comments, any questions, anything that they'd like us to elaborate on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So make sure you participate, because otherwise you just hear us banter for
Which can be fun.
30 minutes, and yeah, sometimes weird stuff. Weird roads end up getting taken, but that's
Yeah.
it.
So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and comment below, hit the like button as well, and yeah,
Just say hi.
just say hello.
That's
We
why
want to
we're
know that
here.
you're here.
Yeah. So like Jeff said, our topic this week is social media, and we picked this because we talk to a lot of people that are really, I think, really scared actually. They're nervous about using social media. They're not really sure how to use it. If you're someone like me, I actually didn't use a lot of social media before we got into our business. I mean, I had social media accounts. I think you were very similar.
Yeah, I was purging constantly. If I hadn't talked to somebody in several years, then I would just remove them off of my Facebook. I wasn't trying to keep my friends list low, but I was just trying to keep it authentic and keep it with actual close people in my life.
Yeah, and I think because, like, you know, we grew up with social media being a way of just kind of keeping in contact with people within your kind of tight-knit circle.
Very much a personal approach to it, yeah.
Yeah, I think people are very, like, nervous when it comes to using social media that are our age for business, because it was always such a, like, it had a different utility when we were growing up, and now it's such an amazing tool to connect with, you know, potential people to work with, potential partners, get your name out there, become known within a wider circle than you could have before, which is very different than, especially with Facebook, what Facebook used to be used for, where it was just you know, you were just writing on your friend's wall and, you know, writing silly things, or, you know, keeping in contact with people that maybe you didn't see every day.
I'm going to date myself here, but I know that you had to have
I said writing on your wall. I think I already
No,
did.
but
Oh, I see.
you had, in order to sign up for Facebook, when it first came out, you had to have, it was meant for college and university students, and you had to have a college or university email address in order to sign up. So
That's even before my time, I think.
exactly. That's why I said I'm going to date myself here. Yeah.
So I think it's hard for, I've seen this quite a bit, where people are just, they're nervous to use social media, and they've been using social media for a certain way, or then there's also a generation that didn't really use social media at all.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's this super powerful tool as an entrepreneur and a business owner, but it's kind of getting into this new mindset of how to utilize social media, because it is a little bit different
Yeah.
than before.
Yeah. When you use it from a business perspective, absolutely.
Yeah. So, what do we use social media for? I guess would be a good, and kind of actually, I was talking a little bit about maybe our evolution of utilizing social media.
We already talked about how we started with social media, and it was really just for personal use, right? When we started to build a business, that's when we realized the power of social media and being able to reach your target audience, and also be able to reach a wider audience than you would normally be able to, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think for me, it was hard initially to kind of make that leap from, you know, not being very, very like cautious with, you know, what I was doing with social, and we're still pretty cautious what we do with social media, but not saying throw caution to the wind and just, you know, hope for the best, but, you know, very cautious. Everything was very private. I didn't even have my own name on social media. Everything was private. So it was a very different use of social media.
Mm-hmm.
But now it did take a bit of evolution, because before it was also like, oh, is this perfect? Is this pose perfect? Do I look perfect in this video? Like, is this picture the perfect picture to like show what we did this week? And it transformed from that into like just like content. Like, it doesn't matter as much, is this video perfect? Is it edited perfectly? Is this picture perfect? It was, you know, show people what you're up to. Show people kind of your authentic self.
Be yourself. If this is how you're showing up today to the rest of the world, why not show up to social media this way?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So it did take a little bit of a shift. So don't worry if you're like watching this and you're like, this sounds terrifying, because it does take some time, and sometimes, you know, you have to kind of work your way up to that. But once you start to realize that it's a new tool to be able to show people, like a wider audience, who your authentic self is, it gets a lot easier to build it and utilize it. And if you are your authentic self, you're going to attract people who truly want to be a part of whatever you're doing and work with you. Because people can tell the difference between like everything always being like perfect and you being authentic.
Yeah, if your video is just always edited perfectly, if you always look perfect, then yeah, there's this level of, what's the opposite of authentic? Inauthenticity? Whatever. It's the opposite, you know?
I was not an English major.
That's fair.
Yeah, so it does take some time, because I don't think people try to be inauthentic. I think people are just nervous to put content out there, which is totally fair, because I think it also comes back to how we sort of utilize social media back when. So
Way back when.
Way back when.
Yeah. It allows you to build trust with your audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can share your knowledge, which is basically what we do with these power lunches. You can have a ton of different content that shows you as an expert in your field. and really just getting yourself and your brand out there, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's not so much about, like, I know, and okay, to be clear, we are not social media experts.
Oh yeah, disclaimer at the beginning of this, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say that I know everything about social media. I don't know all the ins and outs of how to use it perfectly.
I know the term SEO, but I don't know how to implement it correctly.
No. So again, this is what we've experienced utilizing social media. So don't ask us the perfect time to post a picture, time of the day of the week, and what the season's got to be.
And what your caption and all your hashtags and all the description, what that needs to look like. No. That's not what we're here for.
No. But from our experience, what we've seen is that the more we've gotten comfortable with just sort of sharing what we're doing and being very consistent with it, and I think that comes back to the discussion that we had last week about momentum. If you're very consistent with what you're doing on social media and you're being as authentic as you can and just showing people what you're doing in your business, obviously for us it's real estate, so showing people us doing a walkthrough, us looking at different deals, us doing some underwriting, sharing some knowledge that we've learned, the wins, the hardships, sharing all these kind of pieces of your journey. And if you're doing it consistently, people are going to start to notice. People are going to start to want to watch your journey. And then some of those select people are going to want to become a part of your journey. So that's what social media allows you to do, is share truly what you're doing and who you are, and then attract people who like what they see, is what it comes down to. They like the journey you're on, they like who you are, and they want to watch, and then as they start to watch more, maybe they want to join. Mm-hmm. And whether you're selling a product or whether you're looking for different partnerships, it's really the same thing. You're just attracting who that person is to you in your business.
Yeah, we and this is something that I kind of struggled with at the very beginning. A lot of people will look at, I made a post. How many likes did I get? How many comments did I get? How much interaction was there? But it took some time to really realize that I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm not trying to have every video that I do go viral, right? There's a book that's been recommended to me. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I think it's called Superfans, and it's about creating an audience of people that are super fans of what you do, not just focusing on having a massive audience of meh fans, right?
Who needs a meh fan?
Somebody that's just like curious versus somebody that's really engaged and really wants to get involved, like you said, wants to be a part of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good difference and a good realization that I had made, because now it's less about how many likes did I get on a video or on a post or whatever, and how many people did I reach versus what quality connections am I making with this, and who am I reaching and who am I impacting.
Yeah, and that's especially true if you're looking from a partnership perspective. You might look for slightly different things depending on if you're like selling a product or something like that. Like maybe that is more important because it's kind of more transactional at that point. But for us, especially in the real estate world, nothing's transactional. It's all relationships. It's all meeting people. It's all building relationships, building trust. And the nice thing is with social media is you can start to build that trust before you even actually meet somebody face to face.
Yeah.
Because if you're on social media, you're sharing what you're doing, you're being authentic, you started building relationships with the people that are watching what you're doing. And that starts to build before you even meet people. And there was a point when we saw that transition happen when people would come up to us in public and say, hey, I watch your power lunches, or hey, like I've been following some of your posts, you guys have this new deal that you're working on that's so cool, can I hear more about it?
Yeah, somebody we've never met asking us about like the latest deal that we're working on.
Yeah, and it's really cool, and at that point you start to realize how impactful being on social media can be, because for us, we've already started building that relationship with that person. So there's already kind of a baseline relationship and trust coming from their side. And then we get to build on that when we meet them in person and show them like, hey, and it's actually really cool when people come up to us and they're like, you're exactly, like, you are in person who you are on social media. And I honestly, I take that as a huge compliment.
Yeah, that's the authenticity piece, right?
Yeah. Like, people are like, you're the same person. I'm like, of course I am, because I mean, you can't fake that.
I don't put on a front when I'm on social media.
Yeah. So I love that, and I think again that comes down to being authentic and building those relationships on social media, and you can see the impact of that when you start to meet those people in person and have those conversations with them, because you've already kind of built a foundation with them. But like, how do you get there, right? And I have a lot of, both of us, we've talked about this before, we both have students that we talk to about utilizing social media. I have some students in real estate, and then I have some students that I'm working on doing some more like speaking and like social media engagement coaching with. And it's, for a lot of people, and for us too when we started, it's really hard to make that jump into using social media from a business perspective, going to that from the original, but the origin of it, of just staying in touch with friends. That's a big jump to be able to do that. And I know some of the advice, and maybe we can both talk about some of the advice that we give to our students. The biggest piece of advice I give is to just do it in stepping stones. Don't worry about you have to master the post, and you have to master the video, and you have to master all these things. Like, start in a way that's going to make you uncomfortable no matter what you do, but in the kind of most comfortable way you can. So something that is going to make you uncomfortable, but is going to allow you to still do the task. So, maybe for you it's not going live day one. Maybe that's not the right thing to do, and maybe it's making up 3 posts a week, and maybe that's where you start. And once that discomfort goes away, okay, so now it's time to maybe try a video. Let's do a video this time. And you don't even have to go live.
Or you don't even have to be in front of the camera. You can be behind the camera, right? You can do a video. Maybe talk real estate. Maybe you're doing a video of a walkthrough. Just show the building with you talking, right? Yeah. And you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be in your background with the camera facing you. It can be facing the actual building instead. Yeah. It's just baby steps, right, to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, but I know you can also take the complete opposite approach, which is kind of the challenge that you were given.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I just started with social media, so there were baby steps in there, and I was comfortable doing posts. But yeah, I mean, the challenge that I was given was to go live every day for 30 days. Yeah. Right.
And what did you like about going live?
Well, going live just makes it easier and stops me from overthinking it. And this is something that I struggle with is overthinking. I have so many videos on my phone from walkthroughs and stuff that we've done that I just never posted, because I would hit a wall when it comes to the time to actually post that video.
There's a video graveyard on his phone.
Essentially it's a video graveyard, because I would make the video great, but then I wouldn't post it. Yeah. Right? And what good is that? So it was really helpful to go live, to just do it. And then there's no retakes. You could do the same video 100 times, and you know what? You're probably going to choose the first one you did. Mm-hmm. So you might as well have just done it live and saved yourself the 99 other videos that you created.
Yeah. It sounds a lot scarier, because you're like, oh my God, I can't stop it. Whatever comes out is what comes out. Yeah. It is what it is.
But that's the thing. It is what it is.
Yeah. And that's authentic. Right? That's whatever comes out is what authentically is going to come out.
If you're having a conversation with somebody, you don't get to redo that conversation over and over and over again.
Just wait. Let's start that. I'm just going to walk away and come back.
I don't like the way that came out. Hold on a second.
Yeah. So going live is, it's a very powerful thing. It seems really scary, because you're like, what if I say the wrong thing? Okay, so you stumble over your words. You gotta just kind of laugh it off.
That's authenticity.
Yeah, everybody stumbles over their words.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, oh look, that person is human, crazy. Because guess what? I also stumble over my words. And especially, and one of my favorite things that I've heard, so I have some students that have accents, and they're very worried about their English when they're going live. And one of our mentors also has an accent, and he's a great speaker. And one of the things he said was like, you know, I kind of get to blame the fact that English isn't my first language, and anytime I like stumble, I get to blame it on that. And so if you have an accent and you're worried about that, like that's almost better.
You have a benefit that I don't have.
Yeah, I always tell them, I'm like, man, I stumble over my words, and English is the only language that I speak. So, you know, don't worry about it so much. You just kind of gotta, you know, laugh it off. Say, oh, like for me, I'm always like, oh man, English is hard today, and then move on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's taking some of that pressure off and just being authentic, having some fun with it, and makes it.
I think having fun with it is the key. Don't take it so seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Especially you want that authentic piece. Don't take it so seriously.
Your personality is allowed to show. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, like we really like the social media platform. You know, we get to honestly even doing these lives every week was scary when we first started them.
Yeah. We would overthink at the very beginning. We'd have to spend so much time prepping for it. I'd be sweating by the end of it.
Yeah. And it's practice. It's realizing that, you know, as long as the goal is to add value, and you're adding value in whatever way that you can, and people are getting use out of it, like hopefully you guys are finding some of this useful, then we've hit the goal, and that's really it. That's all that matters.
One mindset shift is that this isn't about me, this is about you, right? This is about the audience. Yes, you. I'm talking to you.
But when you're speaking, it's not about you.
Yes. So when I'm sitting here speaking, my goal right now is to give value to you. It's not about me. So it's not about what does my hair look like.
His hair always looks good.
What does my beard look like? What clothes am I wearing? What is all like? It's more about you. What are you getting out of this?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah, and you know, take that every time you're doing a video. You can think about a little bit beforehand, like what's the message that I want to get across today. You know, have a little bit of that like a kind of a goal for that video, but don't overthink like, you know, what are they going to think if I stumble over my words? Do I need to practice it? Don't like worry about scripting it, because in the end it just matters as long as you kind of get that topic out. Like for these lives, we just have kind of a goal of what we want to talk about, and you know, our authentic selves will come out and we'll talk about our experiences, and you know, hopefully value is obtained through that.
Yeah.
So, and the nice thing about social media is that it doesn't cost a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean, talk about marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to market your business, this is a very free way to do it, or low cost if you want to actually pay for advertising or pay for promotion on your video or on whatever your post is. You can do that for relatively inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you select who your target audience is. So now you're actually doing targeted advertising at a fairly low cost.
Yeah.
So, and if you've created your own authentic audience, if you've created your own organic audience, then you now everything that you do for free, all of your posts are actually to your targeted audience.
Yeah. I can't say we've ever used, like, I've used paid ads before, but for like rental advertisements, but I don't think we've never used any like paid ads for ourselves. Everything has been like free, organic type growth. I mean, if you have a product to sell, you might use some paid ads, but like Jeff said, it's either free, other than your time, which I guess so.
Free 99.
Yeah, so it's just you're putting your time in, or it's very like it can be pretty inexpensive. So it's a really good way to build relationships, to build that trust with the people that either you want to have as customers or you want to have as partners or whatever type of business you're in, you get to do a lot of like kind of brand awareness because, especially in this, like we are our brand really. So us being here on this video right now is brand awareness because you see us, you see our faces, you see our little Pinnacon Investments thing.
Look at that.
Like you can connect who we are to our brand, so that kind of targets that brand awareness piece, and it's nice and cost effective. So like, hey, bonus.
Yeah.
But really, it comes down to, like we talked about last week, is the consistency that builds momentum. You can't post once and then post again a month later and hope for the best. That's not going to work. You have to be very consistent. And sometimes, like, one of the best ways to be consistent is to tell your audience to, like, expect something from you every so often. So if you're doing 3 posts a week, if you're doing a post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you say, like, hey, audience, I'm going to be doing a post on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, and if you don't see me, call me out on it.
That's what I did at the very beginning of my lives. So I told everybody in the very first video and a few throughout that I've been challenged with doing a live video every day for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't see one from me, call me out, keep me accountable, help me get through this, because obviously, like, I was doing it because it was a challenge, right? It was me stepping outside of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And so it's good to have people keep you accountable and let people know. And now it's not weird when you do it. If you felt like it was going to be weird, it won't be now that you've let people know and you've set the expectation that, hey, I'm going to be posting 3 times a week.
And guess what? People will call you out.
Yes, they will.
100% they will. You think they won't?
Your
they
super
will.
fans. Your super fans will call you out.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, we've gotten messages when we've missed our power lunch, like, hey, where are you guys? What happened?
Yeah, I was looking for it, but didn't see it. Yeah.
So be consistent, and I don't mean consistent as in once a month. That's consistent, I guess, but that's not what
Consistently
I mean.
inconsistent.
Yeah, that's not what I mean.
Post more than you think you should.
Yeah.
That's the key. Not everybody is seeing every one of your posts, especially with how busy Facebook feeds are and how busy timelines are, whatever you want to call it. Not everybody's seeing all of your posts. You'll see a post in your timeline from like 4 days ago. You'll see one that was just posted an hour ago.
And there's posts you'll never see.
And there's posts that you'll never see. So if you're thinking that you're being annoying, now you're probably getting to the point where you're posting enough, but keep going.
Yeah. So do that, be consistent, and at the beginning it's going to feel like you have nothing happening. Again, this is going back to our momentum talk from last week. I highly recommend, if you're trying to build a social media presence, to actually go back and watch that video as well, because it ties in really, really nicely with this talk. But be consistent, let that momentum build, and then you'll start to see the result of that. It's not going to happen after 1 post. It's not going to happen after a week of posts. It's not going to even happen after a month of posts. It's going to take some time to build that. But then once you start to build it, you're going to start to build trust. You're going to start to build a community. You're going to start to build your super fans, essentially. And that's going to make building your business a lot easier. It's an asset, really, at that point.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about some strategies. I think aside from just being consistent, I think the type of content that you're putting out there, you want to make sure that it is quality content and that it's engaging, right? You want people to be able to engage with your post. That's going to allow you to engage with your target audience, with your customers, with your clients, whoever it might be. And that's going to bring another level of authenticity if you're able to communicate with them through that post. Like, if you can spark a conversation, then that's going to make it reach so many more people as well.
Yeah. And we keep talking about this target audience thing. I think that's really important, is to figure out who the heck you're talking to.
Yeah.
Because you've said it before, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. I think you said that.
Sounds like something I would say.
Which I think is so correct. Like, if you have no idea, if you're just posting stuff for the general public, like, who are you actually speaking to?
Yeah, there's no target.
So knowing, like, actually having a target and knowing who you're speaking to, then everything you say is going to be towards that person. And that's really helpful when you're talking about like messaging, because you can adapt everything you're doing and everything you're saying to make sure that it's going in the right direction. It's again consistent, and that it's going to reach the person that you're trying to speak to. So you might want to work on that a little bit. I don't want that to stress you out too much. Like, don't spend a year trying to figure out who exactly you're
That's
speaking
just an
to
excuse
and,
at that point.
yeah, and never actually post anything, but at least have an idea of who you're speaking to. An ideal scenario is you've really like focused in on who your target audience is, but you know, it's a balance between figuring that out and actually just posting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think at every post as well, if you want to talk about having engaging content, every post should have a call to action. What should your audience do with this video or this content or this post? What are they supposed to do next, right? So if it's buy your product, then there should be a call to action that pushes them towards buying your product, right? There needs to be some form of engagement and some form of call to action on the post.
yeah.
One more little tidbit.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else?
No, I think that's it. That's all I have.
Yeah. You can actually, one more thing, you can collaborate with other people, right? So you can, for example, on this power lunch, we could bring somebody onto this power lunch. Now, not only am I talking to my audience, but we're also talking to the whoever our guest is on the show. We're talking to their audience, right? So you can collaborate on posts, and now all of a sudden you've extended your reach
Yeah.
and who you're talking to.
Yeah. Exactly.
You see brands and like bigger brands do it all the time.
Yeah, they'll do
They
like
get
celebrity
influencers,
collabs
yeah.
and influencers, just so that they can now reach that person's audience as well. So you can tap into that, just like big brands do.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you can just do a collaborative post, you can do a video together, you can do a live together. There's so many ways that you can do it, and it can really help extend your reach, especially at the beginning. If you're just trying to build that community, people need to know who you are, and that's a great way to get in front of an audience that already exists.
I still have nothing else.
Still nothing else. All right, I think we'll stop it there. We're pretty good at keeping these at half an hour now.
Yeah, we're trying to make them a little bit more listener friendly, because we know the 45 minutes to an hour can be long, so we're trying to keep them a little more.
Yeah, I received a recording of a video yesterday, and I looked at it. I opened it up because I was like, oh, this is a topic I'm interested in. And I looked at the video. I was like, oh my god, it's an hour and a half. Can I dedicate an hour and a half to watch this, or can I speed it up to shorten it a little bit?
Yeah, we're doing our best to power lunch.
Power.
Most
people have a 30-minute lunch break, I think.
Yeah, so we're doing our best.
All right, that's it. That's all.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll be here again next week, every Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern Time, live on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll be notified when we actually go live.
Yep. And if you want to hear any more about the projects that we have going on, make sure you send us a message. They're really exciting, so we like to chat about them. So send us a message.
Great opportunities.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.